Denny Blanco, good morning, my man. How you doing?
I'm always great when we got a guest in the house.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. The one, the only, the great Miss Tina Cervasio of Fox 5 New York. Tina, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Randy and Denny, what's going on? It's cool to be on with Denny Blanco.
That's right. First time we have you and Denny meet. So welcome.
Well, yeah, listen, it's first time. So I want to do a promo on Tina Cervasio. I want to do for those that don't know, hypothetically, that don't know who this lady is on our screen. Tina Cervasio, seven time, and correct me if I'm wrong, if any of this is wrong. 7-time New York Emmy Award winner as part of the New York Knicks broadcast on MSG Network, is known for telling exclusive stories and feature packages about players. She had sideline reporter for CBS News Network for college football and college basketball, talk radio host at Sirius XM NBA Radio, Mad Dog Sports Radio, the pregame halftime host of New York Red Bulls broadcast on MSG Network. Cervasio is also the host. Say it one more time. Pass. This is past. This is what you've done before. Yes, this is what you've done before, and you could be continuously doing this now. Red Bulls insider. The concept of me saying all this is, you have worn a lot of hats and done a lot of work. So we want to give you your flowers. Definitely. New York Liberty, New York Knicks, all of the above. We want to give you your flowers and say, we appreciate what you do for the New York City, for New Jersey. And thank you so much for taking time to come up on the show. We like to have Emmy Award winners come up on the show and teach us how to do things.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me on. It's been a long time since I won an Emmy. That was back during my MSG days, who had phenomenal producers and editors and things like that. And when you covered, the Knicks, and that's where, all the awards came from, it's not hard, and we had some good seasons, but not as good as this one's going right now. So
that's right.
Yes.
Tina, I know we go way back, and you mentioned those seasons, and there's been a lot of ups and downs, more downs than ups, but the last couple of years has been a major 360 for New York. Listen, right now we are on the verge of a possible conference finals with the Knicks, the Rangers conference finals, Liberty opening up. It's a lot of New York sports going on right now. We love it. It's about time, right? It's about time.
It is about time. The Liberty, by Monday, we can have both of those teams in the conference finals, and the Liberty could be undefeated, because I definitely think they're going to beat Indiana again at home. And yeah, it's a good time. And the Yankees are nobody's even talking about them, but they are dominating, and Judge is healthy, and there's so much going on that's so good. And the soccer teams are even playing well.
That's right. Let's start. Matter of fact, at Tina Cervasio on Twitter, Instagram, at Sir Denny Blanco, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. We are live right now. So if you got any questions, comments as we go along for Tina, hit us up in the chat. Also on youtube.com/Cruise Control Podcast. It's in the game pod on TikTok as well. So Tina, tonight, Game 6, big game. New York Knicks, Indiana Pacers.
Yeah,
they blew Indiana out by 30 points in Game 5. The guard is rocking. They'll be rocking tonight. They got a watch party going on.
Did you see the watch party for the Rangers? I mean, there was
Rangers. Listen, they had me nervous. They were up 3. They were down 3-1. They scored 5 in the third. I was like, holy shit, this is crazy right now.
Yeah. It's crazy. So Knicks. So
let's do it.
It makes me a little nervous. I mean, Indiana could win tonight. I mean, it's not this is such a great even matchup. Let's be honest. And the Knicks are shorthanded. I mean, imagine they were full strength with Randall or without Randall. Doesn't even matter. It's not a factor because what happened in second half of the season with him. But I mean, gosh, Tyrese Halliburton. You don't know McConnell. You just don't know what could happen in Indiana. I have no doubt when the Knicks play at home, or the Rangers. I mean, even though they lost that one game, but it's not a bad thing, obviously, because they've advanced. But that Garden is that X factor, and it's been like that forever. And it really, because I think the New York fans are just so hungry. So it's an X factor, and it's big, and it's gorgeous, and it dominates, and it's got the theater lighting, the stage lighting, and that's intimidating. And now it's in the so if the Pacers win at home, it's in their head. We have not played well at Madison Square Garden. So I'm not worried per se, but let's just get it done. Jalen and Josh and Isaiah, a little nap.
Yeah.
Just get it done tonight. And they could, but there is that possibility.
before Denny goes, I was having a conversation with a great friend of ours, Edgar Burgos, last two nights ago. And I was telling him this kind of weird, kind of eerie feeling. This season mimics the 1999 season, where it's the expectations of a conference finals or finals were not there in the beginning of the year. Good talent, good coach, but then the injuries start piling up. Then it's like the next man is up. So when Ewing goes down in 99 against Indiana in the conference finals, you're thinking, oh, it's a wrap. And then they get through them. They meet the buzzsaw in San Antonio in the finals, and then they lose. Here, we got multiple injuries to 3 starters: Randall, OG, and Mitchell. Bogey off the bench, and now it's like we're just kind of trying to keep this thing together to get to a conference finals. And then you got
with tape.
a lot of medical tape going on.
Right, a little piece of tape there.
You might see Boston next round. It's like this is a weird, because that was 25 years ago. So it's kind of like the similarities are there.
Yeah, gosh, they are. I remember where I was when San Antonio won that final. Yeah,
me too.
I know. We bring that back. I was in Houston, ironically. But I think what was interesting about last night, you mentioned 99, but everyone keeps talking about 94 when both the Rangers and the Knicks were in the finals, and obviously the Rangers. And I mean, it's eerie how similar and parallel the Rangers storyline is for 94 with Chris Kreider. And this was even crazier. At 33 years old, scores the hat trick in Game 6 to advance to the finals or the conference finals. And Messier did the same thing in 94. He was 33 years old. It was that Game 6 game, and he scored the hat trick to come from. So that's creepy. And they won the President's Trophy going into it. So there's really a lot of parallels there. And if you go back to my interviews with all of the legends, from Adam Graves to Stephane Matteau, they have talked about from the beginning of the season, because of Peter Laviolette and the way that he plays, and they brought a more physical game and more discipline, less penalties, the way they focused on the penalty kill. And they said that from the beginning of the season, this is what he's going to bring. And that's how we played in 94. Oh, well, look what happened by the end of May. So it's amazing. So back to the Knicks. So yeah, it's exciting. And to see those guys from 99. I mean, I don't know how John Starks hasn't got teed up yet. Headbutt Reggie while you're at it.
Not yet.
Freeman, and I mean, to see Stephon Marbury back and really even have that kind of history, obviously, but the love that people have for Steph, and that comes from just being a local guy too. And the love that he's shown back to the Knicks, because everybody had their whatever things that happened there. And I love it. I love the karma, the forgiveness that comes, Clyde with Melo and just all those guys back. It's just been wild to see. And they just, I mean, the whole country loves Jalen Brunson. And talk about getting
everybody.
I mean, the most curmudgeoned of people, the people that just hate the Knicks and hate New York and have talked about, oh my God, I love this guy. And they're like, and I love that his dad's coaching. And you could see him go, sometimes he's his coach, sometimes he's his father on the sidelines. And people like that, because people don't like that. Oh, the nepotism, weird his dad. I mean, just the leadership that Brunson has shown, and just playing hurt and playing the minutes, and the way his game has grown in New York because Tibbs, let him flourish. It is just really, it's just such a great story to see. It should be inspirational at every level. And I'm obsessed and I lose time. And I should be like, cooking and working out and doing things. I watched the Roommates podcast. I've watched the John Starks one twice now. Okay. So just the stuff they talk about. Hart's edgy. I love it. That kind of guy. Jalen brings him down, doesn't practice his shooting until the playoffs. When you've got other athletes like drinking bone broth and not eating gluten, and he's like, "I'll bring on the sugar." I love it. I love it all. I love the way that the one they had with Hartenstein earlier this year, and then there's DiVincenzo, and it's just such a unique.
The big ragu, Tina. The big ragu.
Oh my gosh, so funny. And I don't know how. I'm a little disappointed he hasn't given an old, Tommy DeVito, but. He's got his own MO, and I like that. He's got his own identity, and it's just been like fire in his eyes and ice in his veins. Like I see from DiVincenzo.
Denny Blanco, go ahead.
I am happy for you, New Yorkers. You have gone through seasons of terrible play, and I'm happy for you guys. Randy has been crying on my shoulder for a period of time over the Knicks and what they've gone through, particularly. And I've told him, I said, your time is coming. You have to wait for the right players to be available. You have to stop dreaming about LeBron, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving. You have to stop dreaming about them, because he was. You have to stop dreaming about them and try to get somebody who's up and coming and young. That was Randall originally, which started the emergence of the New York Knicks. And then obviously you add Brunson. I think New Yorkers love this team because of the lunch pail attitude, the attitude of just coming to work and just working. And it doesn't matter what day it is, what weather it is, how sick you are, you're going to come to play. I told Randy, I said, Jalen Brunson on one leg.
One leg. Yeah.
Legs missing.
Jalen Brunson playing on one leg, averaging close to 30. I said, wow, this is incredible.
Wait. More than 30.
Excuse me. So now that I can get more than 30.
Yeah, under 40.
Under 40.
Apologies, Knicks fans. Apologies. Don't come from my neck. Tina, you mentioned obviously Jalen Brunson and then obviously the mergers. We're talking about the Knicks. Were you surprised at? Obviously he came from Dallas. He was doing work in Dallas, but were you surprised at how seamless he's been since he's been with the New York Knicks?
I think in any situation, if somebody's given the opportunity to flourish, especially if they're coming in with a little chip on their shoulder, not because of where they're going, but where they're coming from. Like I wasn't given a chance, and I think that's been the storyline with Brunson. But talk about class. That's another thing with this guy. Mm-hmm. He does not badmouth Rick Carlisle, and obviously that would have been insane poster board material or whatever they call it. But he took advantage of that, and he also took advantage and worked on it with a coach that there's all this weird stuff coming out about Thibodeau. Look, we know he overplays his players. We know he works them hard in practice. And that's what I love about the Roommates podcast. Josh Hart does not hold back and talks about it, how he gets done, how hard they practice, playing 48 minutes, but he doesn't want to come out either. So again, it's like he's a Tibbs player. And with Jalen, same thing, lunch pail. Okay, you need me 48. I'm going to do it on a leg. Okay. Maybe it's not great, but this is what we've got. And what a story. And I think it's both inspirational. It's a story of the National Basketball Association too, where you fit. Does the system fit the player? Does the player fit the system? How you get along with coaches? These guys jive with Tibbs. They're sticking up for him when the rest of the league is voting in the one coach you don't want to play for. And these guys are going to bat for their head coach. Whatever, and it is in that lunch pail that, the hard-nosed defense is what we're seeing, but it's the rebounding too. Enough cannot be said. It's not the sexy stat, but man, to see a guy like Hartenstein, who didn't even play college basketball, grew up kind of, between Oregon and Germany with his dad playing, and to see him flourish too, these unique players. And look, and Tibbs, he's playing young guys because he has to, but it's working. He's playing young guys because, all the big guys are the veterans, like from Randall on down, Mitchell, everybody, are injured. So he has to, go let Deuce McBride play and Precious. But yeah, the Brunson story, if this keeps going, even, I don't want to say this, but we have to be realistic. If they face the Celtics, even if they go 7 games and lose to the Celtics, what a great story about a basketball player and a coach and, everything going against them with the Knicks. They've got, the money is always going to be with the Knicks. They're always going to sign and spend money and the arena is always going to be the Mecca. But we've seen what's happened over the years since 1990. Yep. So, but in the face of it all, these guys just punched back, right? And
they've overachieved.
Yes, and why not? Who cares? That's a great story.
Exactly.
Because what happened across the river with the Nets and their big three when Harden came along? No, my husband works with the Nets. I know.
Me and him have to have a conversation. Me and him, Randy, I know what you're going to say. Me and him going to have a conversation. Your husband, Randy, go ahead. I know what you want to say. I'll let you take the floor. Go ahead.
I thought I was like championship. When I remember that day during COVID, was it during COVID? Yeah. When Durant and Kyrie made their announcement, right? Was it COVID or was it
no
Around
prior?
Right, because Durant couldn't play another whole spiel.
Yeah.
Gosh, I remember the screaming in the sports office at Channel 5. The screaming.
Tina, you know what I remember? And Dennis, I'm gonna tell Dennis every single time I get a chance. It was the summer of 2019.
Yeah,
I think that was the year Randall came on board with the Knicks,
it was.
and KD and Kyrie signed with Brooklyn. From that point on until the day they left, this man right there was a Brooklyn Net fan. And I haven't heard shit from him since they left. So he's a New Yorker, I get it, but he hasn't been wearing no Brooklyn Net hat on the show in 2 years. It's over. No Harden, no Kyrie, no Durant. Now it's like, oh, I just love basketball.
Tina. When guys go fishing,
I was like, what is that?
When guys go fishing, you're a cat mom, so these toys. See, this is a cat toy. There you go. Yeah, I know. See, I did my research. Tina's a cat mom, so she knows. There you go. She's a cat mom, so she knows. This is one of my cat toys, but I bring it out for playoff purposes. When there you go. There you go.
Knocked out.
There you go. But listen, Tina, just to keep it short and simple. I told Randy the reason why I don't have an NBA team is because I don't trust general managers. I don't trust players when they blow up the teams, or coaches when they blow up the teams now have to reset. That's what happened with the Knicks a couple of times. Three or four times the last couple of years. With me, unfortunately, but with me, the Nets, I'm like, yeah, there's no way. This is the team. I believe the management. I believe the coaches. I believe the players. Kaboom, blown up. Yeah. Enough said. Now I'm just rooting for Randy and patting him on the back. Hallelujah, praise Jesus. Wait, Denny Blanco was a front runner. You was a heavy BX Knicks fan. Wait, Randy, am I a Knicks fan?
No, you were a Net fan. You were a Net fan.
No problem. As long as I'm being honest with everyone, I was never a Knicks fan. I was a Nets fan. Not anymore. I am looking for my new team going forward.
You don't like Mikal Bridges, who might end up on the by the way next year.
Who's going to end up on the next year? Listen, I don't care. At this point, you know what? KD can go on the Knicks. All my favorite players go on the Knicks. I can't be a Knicks fan at this point. I have to wave the white flag.
Stay away.
Listen, the amount of people that go to these games.
You just said that, like LeBron and KD stay away.
LeBron and stay away. LeBron and KD stay away.
Yeah, add pieces. They should add pieces, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, I think to your point, Tina, about the whole Thibodeau situation, and I think he's getting a new contract, so well deserved for him. And I love how the team really goes. I was hearing Michael Kay earlier in the week, and the players really play for him. They support him, and you get this narrative like he plays the players too many minutes and they get hurt. But I think at this point he has no choice but to do that because you're missing 4 guys. And I think the narrative of does the narrative change for other NBA teams to say, all right, if I keep a Kawhi or not playing because of low management and he still gets hurt. Now you see the Knicks with 7-man rotation and they are going in 45 minutes a night. There's a team now going forward. So you know what? I got to play my star players 35, 40 minutes a night. Paul George, Kawhi Leonard. You guys want to sit out? Okay, no, you're going to play every game from now on.
Might be something to it. Maybe the load management doesn't work.
Mm.
It depends. I think it depends on the player. The coach, the way you play, position play. Are you a dunker? Are you a shooter? You know what I mean? So I think a lot of that.
Denny?
Yeah, I mean, once again, it's New York City is on fire. We have obviously the Knicks, New York Liberty. Mentioned the New York Liberty. I don't know if we move on to them, but you talking about the New York Liberty, Breanna Stewart leading her team to I believe 3-0. Shout out to shout out to I call the shooter. Randy, you know who that is.
From
Sabrina.
New York.
Sabrina the shooter. Woo! I get chills every time I see her shoot. But yeah,
all the time. Even last night, I'm like, Seth, what do you do? Like, boom, boom, from deep.
You know, she's incredible. So what do you think about the New York Liberty, Tina? Talk to me about them a little bit.
It was a little I was excited to see how they were returning their starting five from last year, WNBA Finals.
Yeah.
MVP. And like you said, the shooter, best 3-point percentage accuracy in WNBA history last year for Sabrina. So they return everybody. But they lacked depth a little bit. They lost, Marine, they lost a lot of their great players that came off the bench. So that made me, a little nervous, like, oh gosh, yeah. But they did pretty good in the draft. It's so tough with those small, short, I don't know what the term is, the rosters, the limited roster space.
Right.
So as Marie Martinez, they had to waive her, but they have her rights. Like, just a lot of weird stuff was kind of happening before opening night in Washington. Right, same to the fact that they were still getting players back from Europe, just travel and all that stuff, and some are just visa things and all kinds of stuff. So it's like, oh, what's going to happen this year? And then you think, and I know 2 games is a small sample, but it's amazing to see like the evolution even in just two regular season games. Like, they were a brand new starting 5 last year. It was a slow start. And everybody's like, Brianna Stewart, she won these championships. She's been the MVP. She kind of had a slow start, and Courtney Vandersloot, a veteran. They took them a while to build chemistry, but they were a super team. They had a big 3. They were a super team. And when they brought Jonquel Jones in, she struggled. She was coming off an injury. It's like, oh, what's going on with the Libs? And then they take off on that Commissioner's Cup tournament, which, by the way, there's something to these tournaments we've noticed in the NBA this past season too. That was kind of fun. And there's something to it, whether it's we see how well the Lakers did, but in any event, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it just, it adds something, maybe it sparks chemistry, or not chemistry, confidence. Okay, this is what we did well. Let's push the envelope a little bit in these games. Who knows? Coaches could speak better to that and the players that are doing it. But, they win that after they won that little cup, and Jonquel got MVP of that. It seemed like that's when it really kicked in. But they ran out of steam in the finals, in the WNBA finals. And there was a little bit too, the shooting, not helping the helper, which is, against the Aces and anything. You never count Becky Hammond out. I mean, she is just a unicorn. Yeah. So with that, this year, I thought Brianna was a little slow to start. I don't think she had a very good game 1. I thought Benijah Laney Hamilton got married. Benijah played so well. She's become such a great 2-way player. And she's another great 3-point shooter, by the way, too, Denny. So, so you're talking about this Liberty team got a little Warrior, like, the championship Warriors vibe, shooting the 3. And so they play fast, they score fast, they shoot, early and often. And, but the way that Benijah played defensively, and then, you've got Jonquel rebounding, and then 48 hours later, with all eyes on the sold out arena with Caitlin Clark's home debut, was like, let me just remind, and everyone talking about Asia Wilson, who, by the way, absolutely could be a 2-woman race, absolutely could be, MVP this year. She was a defensive player. My goodness, did Stewie come to play last night? 11 points. She was like 5 of 7 or 7 of 9 in the first quarter alone. And that was fun to see. And the rebounding and the second chance points with this team. That's another thing. A lot like the Knicks a little bit with their rebounding. And again, it's 2 games. And let us not forget, Indiana had the number 1 overall pick for a reason. They were not a good team last year, and they're still not. It's not Caitlin Clark stinking and not being good in the WNBA. She's played 2 games. But, they shut her down. I mean, she did 20 points and 10 turnovers the game before.
Yeah.
She had last night like 9. She didn't score a lot. She was super frustrated. I'm not disappointed in her play because they're blanketing her. They're double teaming her. They are, all kinds of defense are throwing at her. And she's just coming off the finals, starting for 2 weeks. So I'm not disappointed in Caitlin Clark by any means, but I was like, oh, her body language could have been better. Just saying.
Tina, you hit some things on the head. Obviously, we've had conversations, me and Randy, about the Caitlin Clark experience, the what she's doing for the WNBA, which is helping bring eyes to the WNBA, which WNBA has been getting better and better when it comes to viewership, when it comes to these star players being added. I talk about the media apparatus in general and how media apparatus in general and how sometimes you set players up for failure, how you present them to the public. So, for example, if you're having Diana Taurasi, Sue Bird, and Breanna Stewart watch her, and they're asking questions about, is she the best college player ever?
Yeah, that. And
these ladies, like in real time, had a brain freeze. They glitched. They were like, "What do you mean? What are you talking about?"
That we think you all were.
yeah, what we were doing earlier.
I mean, Breanna Stewart lost a game in college. Like, she never lost a game in college, right?
Right. So that.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the point. They had a right then and there. They literally it was like a chip on their shoulder that they really didn't have to get strictly off of how the media is how do you say propping up. Caitlin Clark's great. It's just sometimes the media is
records 100%.
Yeah, she's great, but sometimes the media apparatus just sets some of these players up. So when you say Breanna Stewart was looking kind of with 31 and some change, unfortunately, Caitlin Clark's going to have to bring her A game everywhere.
Because it's a different game. It's played differently. The women are stronger and bigger and faster, it's more technically sound. All right, so 2 women were drafted out of Iowa, but that's 2 women, on one team. They made it to the finals. Clearly, they're a good team. So, but look at the rest of the whether it's March Madness or the rest of their conference and everybody they played against. So I'm just reading here. Clark didn't talk to reporters after.
There you go.
Oh, really? Already?
But she had a lot of that day. I know. I'm just going through a couple things.
She said, nope.
There's always, I talked to Renee Montgomery the other day. She's one of the co-owners now of the Atlanta Dream. She's another undefeated UConn player, champion, national champ, and had a really, not like a Breanna Stewart level or Diana Taurasi or Sue Bird level WNBA playing experience, but obviously one of the great players. And she's like, the transition's tough. It is tough. And especially, well, Caitlin Clark's very tall, but like Renee was small. And like, she's like, it was difficult. The physicality, the coaching's different, and you are coming out of the gate of your season. So, so we should not look down on Caitlin Clark. So here's the thing too. I think the fans, which is a good thing, and that's Dawn Staley said this, let's rise with the tide. This was a wave, the Caitlin Clark wave, and she was breaking records every night, scoring 40 points, scoring 54 points, having these games, running through college basketball. It was fun to watch, and everybody was fun. And college basketball is fun to watch, and it's set up for you to watch it. It gets a little dicey with the WNBA going against these, conference championships in the NBA and the NHL, and then the summer happens. So it's a little challenging there. That's why the ratings, but they'll be better this year. But with Clark, you got to give her time. It's going to be a challenge. She's going to be a great player. Yes, we can't get down on it, but it's let's ride the wave. So the media followed suit on what the fans were doing. And it was right. The fans were turning on the games. The numbers were going through the roof. So the media is going to follow with it. We built up that game on My 9. So Fox 5, where I work, and My 9, which is our sister station, you have ESPN2 or you have YES2 and MSG Plus. So My 9 is our sister station, and or like FS1 to Fox Sports. So they're a majority of the games, but a bunch of games are going to be on Channel 5 New York City. So Channel 9 New York City. No, it's free. And it's also free on the Fox 5 app. So you're watching these, you have access to these games. So we've been building up this, Indiana game. Of course, Caitlin Clark is on our channel. But to me, it's not a disappointment because it proved at the New York Liberty that they're the finals team. And they have a super team. And by the way, Indiana was not that good. That's why they had to draft Caitlin Clark, because they had the number 1 overall pick. So I think these are just all great storylines and drama. Maybe the drama and the intrigue of the WNBA this year is Caitlin Clark struggling out of the gate. Why not? That's sports. There's winners, losers. LeBron's and Steph Curry are home, and Jalen Brunson's tearing up on one leg.
So, Tina, they did give I'm not the schedule maker, but they gave us some rough teams, Connecticut, New York, back to back. Like, hey, welcome to the league. We're not giving you Atlanta Dream, and we're starting off right from the gate.
Storm that are rebuilding, and yep. No,
Yeah.
they did give them that out of the gate. But and the national TV, it kind of reminds me of the Jets. That's why I'm like stressed out. I mean, I was born and raised a Giants fan, but I love that Jets locker room, and I want them to win. So that's why when the Jets schedule came out, I got a little stressed too. It's like, oh, this is like the first Caitlin Clark schedule.
Yeah.
And that's a whole nother story. But in any event, yes.
I do want to mention this because obviously a lot of attention on Caitlin Clark, and rightfully so. And but also in that draft was Angel Reese, and she goes to Chicago. And she's being coached by someone that we know very well.
Teaspoon.
Someone named Teaspoon, right? Former Liberty Hall of Famer. I think they're undefeated right now at the moment, right?
Yeah, Angel, but they're one behind. They have one game. They play.
Also, they're 1-0.
I think they're one. She struggled, she wasn't, Angel Reese out of the gate, same thing. And I'm so
exactly
Camila Cardoso. That's just a bummer, but she'll be back in hopefully a little over.
Yeah. But I do want to say I'm happy for Teaspoon. She's been grinding, with the Pelicans and just trying to get a coaching spot with the NBA.
So they did lose their first game.
Oh,
yeah. So they're 0-1. They play again. Today's Friday, right? I don't know what day it is. They don't play tomorrow.
All right. Yeah. But her getting the opportunity to coach an Angel and Angel Reese and Cardoza is like I'm proud of Teaspoon. Happy for her. How do you think? If you were talking to her right now, what do you think her vibe is, and just getting her coaching debut going on with the WNBA?
It was so neat. The Sky killed the Liberty and I know it's preseason.
Oh yeah.
And the Liberty, they were, and I know from talking to Sandy Brondello, the head coach, they were trying things. They were low, weren't playing everybody out of the gate. No, Teaspoon, this is great. She spent her, she had her time with the Pelicans. So she's like Becky coming in with that NBA experience, that level player, watching how the coaches go about it in the NBA, just because the history, I think and then just her own history, whether she was coaching in college, and then just the great player that she was, and a big city, a big market basketball city in Chicago. This will be great. And she's going to have her adjustment period too. And this is a whole new team, that whole thing too. But what great players that she has, on her roster. So that's gonna be fun. I'm just trying to look when the Sky comes to New York. It's
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a good one. That's
cool. Yeah.
And like they're always playing Indiana and Las Vegas this year. I just feel like that with the Liberty. But the Sky, and they don't play the Sparks. It's a home and home. They go back and forth, but I'm excited to see. Yeah, they just have the one game, and let's see. I know Angel. She didn't play a ton. She played 26 minutes. The whole team struggled a little bit. I mean, she had 12.8 rebounds. I mean,
that's not bad.
It's her first pro game. Pro game. And 4 days earlier, she was at the Met Gala, and I give her credit for going to that because she actually played well in her preseason game the night after. And I heard she got there, got dressed, did the thing, and got right back on the plane and went right back. So she is focused, but she's repping the WNBA. So I give her all the credit for that. That was super cool.
Folks, I don't know what folks want young people, ladies and men, to do. You're not offered certain things every year, every quarter. This is the Mets Gala.
And you don't play basketball the rest of your life. You have to, you want to capitalize it. What do you want for your after career? And I think that's what so many more young people are doing now that maybe players didn't do before, or WNBA players didn't have, or it was very limited. So you get a smart player, someone that took advantage, like a Lisa Leslie, and she really capitalized, and she was modeling and doing all that. And that was way before the ratings are what they are now, obviously. They make a career, and meanwhile, she's coaching men in the Big Three and has her own business with her husband, unbelievable entrepreneur, and she still moves forward with the fashion stuff. So, but she was unique. She was an outlier 28 years ago. But now every woman has that opportunity, and does she take advantage of that? Whether it's the WNBA or the NWSL, and you're right. Denny, I mean, you got take that advantage, and it wasn't midseason. And so,
beginning of the season, we're not even getting anything started. Please,
representing the league, so that many more people, maybe an actor or an actress, or people that are obsessed with fashion. That where I work is a great example, because I don't work with just sports people. I work at, everything, whether you're politics or health or crime or whatever. And they're like, "Oh, was that the WNBA player, the one that goes against Caitlin Clark?" Yes, it was.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, maybe she was beautiful. She looked great. So she's going to play. Yeah. Oh, I might watch her game. I liked her dress. Hello. You just got another WNBA viewer. So that's what that's all about.
Yeah.
Bing bong.
I did see on Twitter yesterday, and I forgot who it was. I should have saved it, but it was a very, very cool question, or statement. He said, again, this is what he said. I mean, he said the WNBA they have that bird and magic with Clark and Reese, right? That's what he said.
Yeah, there's a lot of layers to that too.
A lot of layers, but then he said, all right, that Jordan player is coming soon, and that Jordan player is Juju Watkins from USC.
She's those three.
So I thought about you know what? You might be right, but there's also Paige Becker's in there too. So I'm like, who's Jordan? Is Juju that Jordan coming in when she does come out?
Next year, yeah.
Damn.
There's some good players coming up. You know what, though? There's always been good players. It's just now we're watching it on free TV, and we know to go to Channel 5, Channel 9. We know to go to ESPN. I'm pretty sure ABC, like Channel 7, I think, hold on, has the Liberty home opener.
I believe so. Tomorrow, 1 o'clock, right?
Yeah. Channel ABC, where they have
of course, it's Caitlin Clark tomorrow, Tina. Of course.
That is where that game. So the WNBA. So we didn't see that 15 years ago. Nope. When I mean, there were great ratings like Tina Cervasio's first game and Sue Bird and Sue Bird's last game and things like that. But but now it's like there's a player on every team that everybody knows about. So like every team's gonna have a household name, like the NBA. And that's what's different. And then you have like your super teams. So are they villains, or are they worth rooting for when you get the Liberty and the Aces? So, so that's what's so great. And again, I was talking to Renee Montgomery, and this whole bird magic thing. I mean, like I said, there's so many layers. You could talk about, the whole race thing. You could talk about the great rivalry in college. Will it translate to the pro level? Can't wait till they play each other soon. And again, the great play. And then it changed the league. It changed the viewership. It created more storylines. Then you're looking for more college battles and things like that. So, and then they change year to year. Then you get like, the whole Villanova team playing for the Knicks. Like it's a whole nother college story.
Exactly.
And a couple years removed, 6 years removed or whatever it is. So, so it's all positive.
So with that being said, it's still Vegas the top dog, right? Yeah, right.
Aces.
They got deeper.
They got deeper. I know Parker retired. Asia is like, she's it.
Parker didn't even play the second half of the season last year. It stinks because she, you know what I mean? She could have been on the court when they won, but and would have obviously contributed to it. But I mean, Asia had 30 points, right, in her opener. Yeah. Oh,
yeah, double.
Yeah. Here, let me see. Oh, here we go. Do. They're deep.
Yeah. And I'm happy she's getting her own shoe. I know that was a big conversation last month. Clark got her own shoe, but not Wilson. But now she got it. Like it was in the works, but I'm very excited for that too.
Yeah, I love the commercial that debuted last night. Is it CarMax with Sue Bird, Sabrina, and Asia? They're just all fun in it. They're all themselves in it. And Sue's been doing I guess CarMax. I should know the brand, but she's been doing those for a couple years now, right? But she was doing them with Steph, and that was just a really great. That was just fun. It's mainstream. People know who they are.
Before Denny chimes in, who's on your WNBA Mount Rushmore, Tina?
Great question.
I know. I mean, I could get biased because of like Teaspoon and Lisa Leslie and Sue Bird, and I mean it's so tough because like you're watching what Asia and Brianna are doing, and you have Sue and Diana.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Diana's still going. And then what's Asia going to do? Continue to do? I mean, and Sabrina's still so young. I mean, there's
we stumped her. We stumped her.
Don't forget Maya Moore too, Tina. Don't forget.
Oh my
Maya
God,
Moore.
that's the thing. That's the thing. Like there's
chips.
Diana.
There's a 28 year. This league's 28 years.
Brianna, Lisa Leslie's, Cheryl Swoops, Shamika Hostclaw.
Talking about the rings. You know, Liberty never won a ring. Yeah, Swoops. What's she 3 rings? How many did the Comets get?
4, right?
Yeah, 4. Yeah. I mean, that's
tough question. Is you want to have to make,
and you got to throw the WNBA on that.
Yeah, so maybe the Mount Rushmore.
Former players, we should.
Maybe the Mount Rushmore should be eight people instead of 4, because then you hate to leave some people out. So
yeah.
So listen, how long do we have Tina? Because obviously we want to make sure she hits us with a drop. How long do we have her for? Do we? I think we it's 30 minutes.
Like 5 minutes, Tina. You good or?
A couple more minutes. Oh yeah. I mean, we talked Lynx, we talked Knicks. I keep throwing in the other teams every so often.
Well, you know what? Let me ask you this. What you cover so many sports? Is there a favorite sport and why?
It's like your children. You can't have a favorite child.
Yes, you can.
Some do.
Yes, you can.
So I'm gonna be honest. So my first love was football. However, always loved college basketball first, and would watch, Saturdays with my dad and stuff like that. And March Madness does that. It brings everybody in from when you're a kid, and would go to a lot of high school basketball games as a kid. Uncles, cousins were coaching, so we used to go to girls' high school games when I was like 6, 7, 8, and watch this great scorer when she had 1,000 points and local high school, things like that. My dad would take me to a lot of sporting events, but football was my first love. But covering, when it comes to, boots on the ground and being there, and I'm reminded of it, and I get so emotional. Gosh, the NBA's just got something magical about it. I think I could have sat and listened to Nick Nurse. So I was at his press conferences when the Knicks were playing the Sixers. I was just like, I just love the NBA. And just, the strategy and the players, and what I enjoyed so much when I covered the Knicks for those 7 years. It's probably the lowest number of players when you're talking about a league numbers wise, and they don't have helmets, and they don't play every day like baseball. And I've had a career in baseball. I worked up in Boston every single game. I have a World Series ring. Bizarro side story.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that on your profile.
I want to do someday, and I've kept notes. I want to do like a 30 for 30 type story on the psychological difference between each sport.
That would be awesome.
Because they're wired different and they play certain sports for a certain reason. Like there's a psychological reason why John Carlos Stanton plays baseball and not football, and maybe even not basketball professionally, because he probably could have played all three. But there's the whole, and especially with mental health now, we're learning so much about that, and brain power and mind power kind of all started to get really brought to the forefront when I started covering sports. Then at that level, like when I was with the Red Sox, they had a mindset coach. Not a lot of teams had that in 2000. Really?
That makes sense.
They do. Now they have they're flat out like, oh, we got a psychologist, but it's a mindset coach or
right.
And so that's a whole thing. But when you cover the NBA, they are superstars. They are performing. I mean, and we saw that, and Michael made that big change, the marketing, the commercials, the performance. So they have unique personalities, and like to be able to cover guys like Amari Stoudemire and Carmelo Anthony, up front, and to be able to cover the NBA in that era where I caught the end of Shaq's career, Kobe, so to be able to see that up front, and then the beginning of Steph's career with the dynasty era. To see just the personalities and the recognition and the athleticism. It's just, there's something to me magical about the NBA. And I also loved, and people are like, oh, I never thought that. I mean, I'm an athlete. I tried all the ball sports, didn't do well with the ball. I was
no tennis, no soccer. She said no.
Well, softball. But my ballet background and dance and gymnastics background, I would see that in those NBA players. I mean, the footwork, see it in soccer, but to go have footwork and then get elevation out of it. And, obviously all the dunking and all the athleticism with that. To me, it was just, it's so fascinating for somebody like me that failed so bad as an athlete to watch that up close, right at the sideline. So I just appreciated that and appreciated the players and love the flow of the NBA season, shoot around and just practice days, just to get certain interviews like that. I love that.
So okay, go ahead.
I got you, D. So you mentioned two things in that response. I think two very important things for me to mention before we wrap it up. You mentioned football. So I know the schedule came out, Giants, Jets, and I sent a text to my boy, who's a big Cowboy fan, by the way. And the text was, "Yo, the Giants are going to be on Hard Knocks." He said, "Why?" They're not interested.
People are missing though. This is done. They're done filming it. I mean, I think they're going to do some OTAs. This was free agency draft, and now getting the rookies in and their free agents in. So we're going to want to see the Saquon drama. Or
they're not going to show it. I don't think they'll show it.
I don't know. Do they didn't call them? The conversations? I mean, so this is not the regular Hard Knocks, right? This is more. This is going to be a front office head knocks. This is not.
Oh, so okay.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people aren't realizing that. Like this airs and is done before training camp starts. Like this is being filmed and finished now.
Oh wow.
Okay.
So Daniel Jones coming back from the ACL, Tommy DeVito's, media tour. I think it's going to be unique because again, the Giants. That's my house. The Giants are boring for a reason. Like they are old school. They are run by the Maras. It's very straightforward. They don't want drama.
Mm-hmm.
They've done a good job, right?
Yeah.
Overall. Everything's happening right now. I'm getting texts. My doorbells are
there it is. It's time to go.
Very popular, Tina. Very popular.
So I think that's what intrigues me. We're going to see, that stuff behind the scenes. All
right. So this guy Aaron Rodgers coming back.
This guy.
They got San Fran on the road week 1. He got hurt game 1, 4 plays in last year, and this season was
right there. Oh God.
Where do you see the Jets and also the Giants this year? Like where are they in the pack?
I'm having a hard time with the Giants to predict because we don't know what's going to happen with that quarterback position.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think Daniel will be back, but I don't think he'll be back for game 1. And is he the quarterback? I think defensively, oh my God, that team, phenomenal, right? Brian Burns, they have Dexter Lawrence, the secondary. I mean, I love both teams' defenses. Now, on paper,
all right, here we go.
Those Jets win the Super Bowl, but the AFC is tough in general. Like, just wipe all of that out. I think they start this season just going for those first 3 games in 10 days. I mean, it's funny because I saw a quote today, and it was like the Jets owe us one. It was from the scheduler, the NFL scheduler. Rich Sweeney did the article for ESPN. He's the Knicks beat writer because, and the whole thing was like, and again, and this is from me, and just go through my Instagram. You'll see my interviews. I just did an interview with Crystal Dunn from NWSL Clyde, Brandon Jacobs, I've got a Breece Hall interview that's going to go to my YouTube page or Fox 5 soon. I'm all about the human. And here's what bothered me. And this is a very polarizing person.
Mm-hmm.
But the NFL says, as a league, their schedule planner, that guy goes down after 4 plays. It was, I'm paraphrasing. The way it made us feel, and it changed everything, and it ruined everything. So then Rich Cimini wrote, well, how do you think the Jets fans felt? Because Rich wants the Jets to win
exactly.
first. And for the Jets fans, of course you want the team to win. I was like, how do you think Aaron Rodgers felt? Perfectionist person that was, revitalizing his career and goes beyond the stuff beyond the field to try to get himself ready. So I was like, oh man. And now they're putting a whole NFL national television schedule like on this guy's shoulders, like he needs another thing to deal with.
Exactly.
And just, yeah. So, I mean, I don't know, it just rubbed me the wrong way because the way that the Jets have 6 national games in like the first to 8 or 9 weeks. That's a lot. There we go.
There you
Aaron
go.
Rodgers.
Clark. So it's the same effect, these two, Clark and Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm moving in a little closer to see this schedule. That San Francisco game is going to be tough. Those guys are home. They're that young, fast offense, even against the Jets defense. If anybody wins that game, it's the Jets defense.
Okay.
Here's the worst part of everything on that schedule. Rodgers' first snap, you know who's in his face? Leonard Floyd, that last year. The guy signs with the Niners. Like, and again, I grew up a Giants fan, and this Jets team has me like so stressed.
Wow.
Like, I just want them to, because I mean, their Hard Knocks I thought it was great last year. So
yeah,
that game is just insane. I'm glad it's away. It puts the Jets at a disadvantage. It's away, but I'm glad it's just not here because that was a Super Bowl. I've been to a couple Super Bowls. That was a Super Bowl atmosphere. That game on September 11th. It had same thing. There were so many storylines, and it was September 11th, and you're in New York, and it's a rivalry with the Bills. Like besides Rodgers' debut, and besides the expectations, so I'm getting all like worked up. I love
No, I imagine your face. I imagine your face when when Aaron Rodgers actually went down. I had to call Randy. I said, "What is this a glitch? What's going on? Is he faking? Like, why does he think
it's fake?" I was like, "There's no way this just happened." There's like,
yeah,
is he getting up slow? I was like, did he just wait? And I was sitting next to Bruce Beck, and we're like to post video. Like I had close-up video of him walking out. I never even posted it on the first time. And I'm like about to post it. And I'm like watching and I'm like, what's going on? Is he down? What happened? Oh, maybe it was just bad. Like it was just so surreal. And
terrible.
That place it went from deafening to so like a church
mouse. Church mouse.
Very quiet.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Tina, we are.
I got
so
one more.
Happy.
I got one more. One more.
You got one
because
more?
she's a media person. She's a broadcaster. I want to get her thoughts. So, and then me and Dennis are going to bring it up until it happens. There's been a lot of talk about the NBA being lost on TNT. They might lose the rights. They might go to NBC, Prime, all that. Just want to know. Nostalgia is very popular nowadays, and a lot of fans on Twitter, they want the NBA back on NBC. They want that vibe again, but there is no Marv Albert, Bob Costas, Jordan. It's a brand new time, brand new era. But now the TNT, they love Inside the NBA, Ernie, Charles, Shaq, Kenny, and it's like, damn, I want the nostalgia, but I don't want it at the price of losing this over here. So how do you feel about the NBA possibly leaving TNT?
I feel the same way. I mean, to break them up, and they're under contracts, and I do believe whether it's CBS and Paramount are in on this too, and it's kind of a dual partnership there with those two networks because they have the NCAA stuff. So all of those guys have worked on CBS and Paramount and whatnot. NBC nostalgic, of course, they'll bring the music back, but yeah, you don't want to break up that pregame show. Oh, God, that studio show because they do halftime and just the talent, the knowledge, the chemistry. Play-by-play guys get moved around and this and that, and yeah, I don't know. It's a business, and that's what guts me every day. It's a business. Just to give perspective, I already know if the Knicks and Rangers are in their finals, I will miss finals games because I'm doing sideline for New York Liberty. Yeah, I'm thrilled. And I mean, I am so ecstatic, but it's like, it's the business. So we sometimes look, it's the beginning of the WNBA season and the Liberty won their first game and it was on our air, and lead with the Liberty. Like that's what the news people think. It's a business. We're a partnership. Yeah. The Knicks just crushed Indiana. I was like, guys, we have to lead with the Knicks actually. Like it's just business gets in the way, but that's how we're on TV. That is how the NBA, I mean, these networks are paying billions of dollars get the National Basketball Association to be on their air. It is all about business. And we're talking about Magic and Bird and Jordan and then the next era and how it's the WNBA. It's all marketing power. It's getting the person that doesn't watch the sport to buy a Liberty sweatshirt, or, you know, back then somebody like me, like that lives in New York and I'm a Knicks fan, but like bought a Jordan poster. You know what I mean?
There you go. There you go.
No,
there you go, Randy.
Jordans, you know, and not Ewings, because the Jordans just look better. So, you know what I mean? So it's a business, and that's like the bad part, whether it's spending billions or budget and people get let go, or a pregame show gets broken up. It's like, and you don't want to call it the negative side. It's just the reality. And another great example. I mean, the whole business, like just NFL, like free agency and Saquon, it was business. He got a lot bigger offer than the Giants were going to give him, or they didn't give him money initially the year before that he wanted. So it was his business decision to not sign the extension midway through the year. I think I can get more. You know, running backs are coming back again.
Yeah.
So business decisions don't always play into the strategy of the game or the enjoyment of watching the game. So the enjoyment of watching, you know, inside the NBA. And so, yeah, I don't know. It is, I hate change, but change moves us forward. So we'll see what moving us forward does with this. So a lot of money.
Denny Blanco, wrap it up.
No, I think we got it. You just broke down what's in the game. You just broke down exactly what's in the game when it comes to marketing, when it comes to businesses, when it comes to who decides, you know, what's leading and so forth. And that's why we do this podcast, because we want to showcase what's in the game. Tina, we appreciate you for taking time to come on the show and hang out with us. We had more in store, but obviously we take your time with it. Yeah, we have more. We have some other questions. We have some other sports questions we're going to see if we can stump you on, but we value your time here. Before you go, can you please give us a drop before we get out of here?
This is Tina Cervasio from Fox 5 New York. I'm the lead sports anchor, host Sports Extra on Sunday night, but nothing's better than spending an hour with Denny Blanco and Randy Cruz on It's in the Game.
One and done. One and done. Professional. Professional. Come on, man. Come on.
Like a John Calipari recruit to Kentucky. One and done.
It's a lot. Just a one and done. This is why we bring professionals on, Tina.
That's right.
Thank you so much. Enjoy your Saturday. Enjoy your day. I know you got some things to do. Say hello to the kitties for me behind you.
One of is the one still there? Yep, she's still there. That's Ray Skywalker.
Oh, she's out. She's out. You can follow Tina on social media, Tina Cervasio. Thank you. We definitely appreciate your love and support as always. Let's go Knicks game 6 tonight. Let's go Rangers. Liberty tomorrow, home opener. From myself, Denny Blanco, Randy Cruz, Tina Cervasio. It's in the Game podcast. We out.
It's in the game.
Yes, sir.